This stuff here, Yerushalmi Shekalim, the article also additional one Daf Nun Tes Amud Aleph, at right the Mishnah Balach Beis in the Vilna Yerushalmi, that's at the bottom of Lamed Beis Amud Aleph, and in the Vilna Bavli Yerushalmi, it's on Chaf Aleph on Beis. All the beginning of Halacha Beis. Says the Mishnah, Parochas Shnei Beis of Vlada Tuma. Parochas became Tamei to a Vlada Tuma. So the carbon A gives a scenario, Shenoga ben Mashkin Tamei. It touched Tamei beverages. Shekalim goes to a Mashkim Shematam Kalim. Chachamim decree that Mashkim are Matam Kalim because they are Mashkim the Zava. Even though the Mashkim should not have the power to be Matam Kalim because only originally Tuma. Nevertheless, he decreed that they should be Matam Kalim lest you come the close Kalim come into contact with the Mashke of a Zav or a Zava, which is actually the secretions of a Zava, which are Matame Midoraisa. So, Paras Shanim is allowed to Malbino also bifnim. You travel inside the Beis Hamikdash. As the carbon 8 of the Einam Tuna Shiluah Chutz Lamachne Shechina. Does not be sent out of the Machne Shechina. Came Shloim is Elabavlada Tuma. So this only became tummy with the Vlada Tuma. Nisan Samiyani, you can immediately hang it back up in its proper place. Sheina Tuna Rev Shemesh, because it doesn't have to wait till nightfall, since it's a light Tuma. Shigmas but Avatum came tummy with an Avatum, which is a Tuma Doraisa. So then, not bilin osa b'chutz, then you table it outside the Beis Hamikdash. As the Korban says, the Tuna Shiluach, just like any other Tamei, it must be sent out of the Beis Hamikdash. So not just human beings who become Tamei that need to be sent outside the Beis Hamikdash, but also the Keli, which comes Tamei, has to be sent out of the Beis Hamikdash. And therefore, the Shoytchen Sabachol we lay to dry out outside of the Beis Hamikdash, outside the Azorah. Mimnei sheyitzur harav shemes is a came Tamei with the Tumah Deraisa. So therefore, it has to be it has to wait till nightfall too. It could be rehung in the Beis Hamikdash. The Tachin Charatin points out that an Avatuma would include a dead sheretz or a dead nevela. Okay, it says the Mishnah further. Imaisa Chadasha, if it was a new parochas, somebody just donated parochas to Beis Hamikdash. Shonchasa Gaga Itztaba. They spread it out on the roof of the portico which surround the Beis Hamikdash. In order that people should see its handiwork, that it is very beautiful. Now, what were the dimensions of the parochas? Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel, Shimon ben Haskan. Rabbi Shimon Gamliel said in the name of Shimon ben Haskan, his father I guess was Haskan Kohen Gadol. Parochas ovia tefach. Parochas was very thick. It was a tefach thick. Al Shimon Ushtayim Nirim Nereges, and it was woven on 72. I'm not even sure. I don't know what they're called again. The lines which come down in the loom. Each the loom had these 72 placeholders in place, which held the warp threads. So there were 72 of these strings which held the warp threads next to each other, and of course they would throw the weft or woof threads through those lines. So I had the article in English, I would translate it, but don't have the article in English here. But there we go, translates it as. Okay, he says they're the strings, like we just said. So the Al Kol Nima Uvenima Asim Arba Chutim, and each and every one of these threads, the warp threads which went through the nearing, was 24. Had 24 strands in it. Yeah, our tzitzis are kofel shmoina, right? They have 8 strands in them. So these had 24 strands in them. Orka arboim amma v'rachba esrim, its length, which was the height when it was hanging, was 40 amos, and its width was 20 amos. Mishmonim b'shtei ribo hoisa na'aseis, and it took 82 times 10,000, which is 820,000 dinari zav to make it. It was extremely, extremely expensive, obviously. And there's another interpretation, interestingly, which is which is that that's not the amount of money, but the amount of threads which it took. The Ada says dinari zav, Tagchaytin says dinari zav, but the Ravan and Rashi and Chulin say threads. And it's interesting. The fast article brings out fascinating girsa here that the Yesh Gorsim Ribos, Noros, Mokum Ribo. It's 82 girls, I guess were adept knitters, would make the parochas. Okay, the Forish and Talmud brings down here again. The article says that they were youngsters, so they had not yet ever become nidos. The Gemara goes on to, the Mishnah goes on to say that Shtayim Oslim B'chol Shana. The Pharisee says, why would they need so many parochas? So he suggests that it would take half a year to make each parochas. So therefore, it take over the course of a year, you'd make two if you needed to make two, but not that they always had to make so many. And they didn't get so dirty so quickly. So points, there wasn't much dust inside the Beis Hamikdash. Okay, it's interesting that the article discusses was it one parochas, two parochas, because we know there's a shimach like between the heichal and the Kodesh Kodashim, whether there one or two parochas. So there were two parochas, maybe you have to make two. If there's only one, why shouldn't make two? But according to Pharisee, I think it's much more glad to say that it took half a year to make a parochas. Ushlosh Mels Kwanim Magbilim Mosan. 300 Kwanim were necessary in order to tell it. Now the Gemara is going to say that's a guzman. I'm going to say exaggeration, but there's the famous gra, which the Pharisee brings down here. Surprising article doesn't seem to bring it down, but and the gra says the perimeter of each parochas was 40 by 20 by 40 by 20, right? 40, 20, 40, 20. So it's 120 amos altogether. And this kalim, so amish of kalim was 5 tvachim. Well, it could have been amish, it could have been 6 tvachim too, but let's assume it's for 5 tvachim. 6 tvachim works out for sure. So that's 5 times 120 is 600 tvachim. So of course you didn't need 300 kwanim to toivel. That's a guzma, but 300 kwanim would toivel it. Each one holding on with 2 hands, because everybody wanted to be zoich in the mitzvah, being toiveling the parochas. So therefore, even though it could be it's a guzma that wasn't necessary, but that was the maximum it could fit in. Okay, again, if it's I'm a 5 tvachim, I'm 6 tvachim. We could have perhaps fit in a bit more. Perhaps we would spread them apart a bit, but you could have 300 kwanim in to do it. Okay, that's the end of the Mishnah. So it says more. Ilu amar chut echad kafel l'shnayim. If it would say, let's see, it said chut, then it would be each one would be well, I like talking chaydim better. It says ilu nemar chut echad, klamar ilu nemar chut. They said chut hayisim mefarish echad klishna the chut yechidi. That's language of chut, right? An individual chut. Then nemar kafel hayisim el shnayim klishna the kefel, right? It would say, so it would have said chut would mean one. Ilu nemar chut echad kafel l'shnayim, right? Shazar l'shleisha. If it would have said shazar, it would be 3. Masar l'shisha. And then it was arba, because there are 4 meaning. Mikano esim arba. If you get 24, that's kind of side. It says social l'shlosha, masar l'shisha, arba. Shah arba meaning cheles argaman v'tolash shani v'sheish. You had blue and purple and red and plain linen. So hare arba pamim shisha, hare chav dalet 24. Okay, that's the 24. And it's 24 couple. Each string was, each thread was 24 strands. Couple estrim barba. Okay, Tani, we learned shloshim v'shtayim. There's a bride that said 32. How so? So ilu amar chut echad. Chut would be 1. Kaful shnayim. Kaful would be 2. Shazur l'arba. It's saying it's 4. Mazar lishmona. Mazar makes it 8. Arba mikan arba, for there's 4 types. Mikana tlasim v'tate. So that according to that drush that we have learned here, it'd be 32. Okay, because mazar doubles the shazur. According to this, the real difference is shazur. Before we said kafel is 2 and shazur is 3. Now we're saying kafel is 2, but shazur doubles that and makes that 4. So in Tani we have another brayso which says arboim b'shmaya 48. Either marchut echad, where marchut be 1, kafel shnayim, right? Kalia. Now we're in the word kalia as well. Now it doesn't say clear in the pasuk, but for that matter, it doesn't say shazur either, and we should have made that clear that it doesn't say that. It says vasisa parochas ches v'argamim v'slashani v'sheish marzor, right? So the question is, what does the word marzor mean? That's really what our focus is. So marzor is not chut, it's not kaful, it's not shazur. That's what I'm learning till now. And the question is, what chut connote, what kaful connote, what shazur connote, and it says marzor instead. Now we're adding in, no, there was another term that was used. Now, it doesn't say chut, it doesn't say kaful, it doesn't say shazur, it doesn't say kliya, it doesn't say shazur. It says marzor. So then, what does marzor include? So again, ilo marchut echad, kaful would mean shnayim, kliya would be shlosha, shazur it would be l'shisha. Marzor therefore doubles that, and it's shnei mazor. Arba times 4, you can't arboim b'tamnaya. So that's 4. Okay, concerning the various different curtains in the Beis HaMikdash, now the article here brings down 2 psukim, which are in the Torah or Yerushalmi, which are by the Big Tekuna. I don't know why, and this threw me off, because we're not talking about the Big Tekuna here. We're talking about the different curtains. So in the it's really the on the curtain which was at the opening of the Mishkan. It says in Shmos Chavav Lamed Vav, and also on the opening of the Chatzer. It says here. Another place it says Maaser Okeh, and that's also in Chav Zayin Tez Zayin. And in Chav Zayin Lamed Aleph, it says about the paroches, which has been between the Kodesh Kodashim, that was Maaseh Choshev. So the paroches was Maaseh Choshev, and all the other curtains Maaser Rokeim. Right. So what's the difference between Maaser Rokeim and Maaser Rokeach? Again, I don't know. The article put down the psukim by Big Day Kahuna. So the by Torah Hashem brings down the psukim by Big Day Kahuna. Guys can fault the oaths for other people because the article itself brings down the right psukim. Okay, so the Mara says, what's the difference? Maaser Rokeim Partuv Echad. It's one face. In other words, the same face on both sides. Because it's embroidered, so the embroidery goes through and through, and the same face is going to be on the other side as is on the one side. Whereas Maaseh Choshev Shtei Partzufos, apparently it's woven into the very thick parochas, of course, and therefore can have a different pattern on one side and on the other side. Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Nechemia had a machlekes about this. Chad Maaser Rokeim is Ari Mikan Vari Mikan. There was a line on both sides. And Maaser Choshev Ari Mikan B'chalak Mikan. It was line on one side and blank on the other side. Maaser Rokeim is Ari Mikan B'chalak Mikan. No, he says actually the embroidery was only on one side. It was a line on one side and it was smooth, blank on the other side. Maaser Choshev is Ari Mikan V'Neshem Mikan is a line on one side and a eagle on the other side. So probably for this, this discussion from this Gemara comes the source that people do make countenances of lions and of eagles in a shul, even though we frown on most shapes in shul and certainly on human shapes, but evidently these. If we had in the Mishkan, so therefore we could have it in the Beis HaKnesses as well. Okay, the Gemara goes on. We have a header here. B'shmani v'shtayim ribo ha'isa. Now it says, but we're not going to speak about that. We'll talk about the b'chulei. Well, actually, I'll tell you about that. No, we're not going to Shloshim. It's quite might be already. It's about Bisno Amar B'Shem Shmuel Guzma. That's not going on the 82,000. Going on the whatever 82 Rebo. It's going on the 300 Kohanim. As we mentioned, Mishnah, the Gemara says that you couldn't have 300 Kohanim, but obviously because we don't need 300 Kohanim. Okay, Tamatim, we learned Play Love Shloshim as core. Sometimes there was piled up on his back 300 core of ashes from the Karbanos. Rabbi Yossi Barabun B'Shem Shmuel says Guzma. That's also exaggeration. We know 300 because the letter Shin is 300. And the Son Guzmos and the Gemara, which are 300, and the Son Guzmos Gemara, which are tough 400. And I'll explain why some are 300, why it's some are 400. 300 corresponds to the maximum of Olam Hazeh, different things. 400 goes beyond Olam Hazeh to Olam Haba because it's beyond the last letter of the alphabet. There are even terms in the Gemara. Of course, they go up to 500, such as the certain wave and the which could transcend the things in this world. There are all sorts of remazim which go into the guzmos. The guzmos didn't just take 300, 400 stam. Every guzma in Chazal obviously has a meaning for it. But there were exaggerations. They're not to be taken as numbers so much as adjectives. They can describe an idea more than the literal reality. Okay, Mishnah Halacha Gimel. Pasa Kochi Kochim. If you have a meat of kochi kochim, of karbonos, which are kochi kochim, the shenim became tamei bein avatuma, bein vladatuma, whether it became tamei with avatuma or vladatuma. So bein, and we'll discuss it sliced rabbanon in the Gemara. Bein b'fnim, bein b'chutz, became tamei outside the base of mikdash, inside base of mikdash, outside base of mikdash. Yamrim hakoyisem b'fnim. Everything is burnt inside the Beis Hamikdash. Chutz mishenitma b'avatuma, chutz except for something came tummy with an avatuma outside the Beis Hamikdash. So the what's inside and outside. So the carbon A explains because the name Beis Hadeshin Agolosh Bazara. In the great Beis Hadeshin, there was in Azara Shisham Sarvim Psuli Kachi Kachi, where they burned the Psulim Kachi Kachi, Shkosh Psul B'Kodesh, anything which came as possible in the Kodesh, Sarvim and Sabbakodesh. Kutzishim of Vladatum Bifnim says Karmei Dis Beitarta Tuma. It has two issues. Tumas Bifnim. Oh no, that's sorry. That's going Beisel. Sorry. No. The let's see. Moshe. Chutz Shenima Avatum Chutz came to Tumas Chamira, since the tumah was severe, right? The Ira Tumas Chutz and tumah outside. Don't bring it back into Hazara, Lasarfo, to burn it. The Zet Lo Hayab Psul B'Kodesh, not Psul B'Kodesh. The guy told me outside the Beis Hamikdash. Beisol Me Makoy Se B'Chutz. No, everything should burn outside. Chutz Mishim of Vladatum V'Vnim, except if it's a double leniency. That's Vladatum V'Vnim. It says the carbon. It says Bnei Moshe Avanidma Avatum V'Vnim. The Chamir Tumas is severe tumah. Anyone shows a tumah V'Vnim, don't leave the tumah outside. Inside, I should say until you burn it. And let's see some miyad, take it out. You start b'chutz to burn it outside. Except for Nitma Vladatum V'Vnim, because it has a double leniency. It's tumah's light and already was inside. Rabbi Lezamer, Shnitma B'Avatuma depends. If it's tumah became tumah with an avatuma, Bein B'Vnim and b'chutz. Whether it's burnt, it became tumah inside or outside, you start b'chutz, it should be burnt outside. Avatuma, as we shall see, why it's more severe in the Gemara, but in any event, it's more severe, so therefore it should be burnt outside. Shimba Vladatum, which is a light tumah anyway, whether this became tummy outside or inside. So I mean, we want to do a controlled burn, right? So therefore we say bring it inside, even if it came tummy outside, bring it inside in order to burn it inside. Rabbi Akiva says that Makam Tumasa Sham Seifaso. Wherever it becomes tummy, that's where you burn it. It became tummy inside, so it doesn't matter if it became tummy with Vladatuma or Avatum Vladatuma, burn it inside. Become tummy outside, Avatum Vladatuma, burn it outside. Okay, the emotion was down that halacha is like Rabbi Akiva. There's a chart in the art scroll. I'm not sure we have to see it. I think it's not necessary for our Mishnah, but there is a chart. Those of art scrolls I'll show it on the screen. You can freeze the frame if you want to look at the chart in detail. There it is at the bottom. Like I say, you can freeze frame if you want to see it. Okay, so the Gemara says, famous machlekes is many times already, several times already, and we've always learned a Kipshuta. We're going to learn Kipshuta now as well. Like we learned last place, well done, it was in Psachim. Bar Kapara Mar Avatuma Dvar Torah. Bar Kapara says, an Avatuma is a Tuma Doraisa. Vlada Tuma Tinshkim Tumi, Vlada Tuma is only a Tuma Derabana. There's no such thing, and to hear the Pnei Moshe, who we followed in the past, says, Vlada Tuma Divrayim, Sharisha Tuma, Eno says, Shein Tuma Divrayim. The Rishon Tumah does only makes Sheni Tumah Midrabanan. Say by Kapara, ain't Sheni L'Tumah Min HaTorah. Again, we talked 12 on this Psachim, how the Rambam seems possible like Bar Kapara. So we're going to go to that sheet over here as well. He says, as Pnei says, Ben Avatumah Tamachem, Ben Vlatumah Tamachem, Divrei Torah. It's the Raisa, and we're going to let's read the Pnei Moshe's derivation. The Chsiv Habasar Shegab Chol Tamei Loechel, meat which touches anything Tamei should not be eaten. Milo Skin Nagav Rishon, we can't be talking about where it touched the Rishon. Havalei Abasar Sheni, so the meat is now Sheni. But Kapara Fire Shal Kosevazu, Kapara explains this passage. Shagab Tamei Shu Avatuma, touches Tamei which is Avatuma. Chol Avatuma touches any Avatuma, but not a Vladatuma. Okay, and the Gemara is now going to discuss this. Machlekes Rabbi Yochanan bar Kapara, as it does in many places, but we will. That's right on Samach Amud Aleph, so we will stop here for today.